in reputed journals also. His areas of interest are marketing, research, professional skill training, mentoring, and developing a rural young population. He was an active participant in NCC, NSS, and social service activities and a member of JCI. He received 7 awards and recognitions from the various organizations for his research and service contributions. He presented 50 research papers in national and international conferences and published 26 journals in UGC and Scopus Index journals, published 20 ISBN books of chapters, and written 6 books in the field of management. Sir filed 6 patents and for 2 patents received grant certificate. He is an active member of the Indian Society for Technical Education, Inspiria Research Association, Jaipur, and Tamil Nadu Association of Intellectuals and Faculty. He is a soft skill and motivational trainer, NLP practitioner, and resource person in research, publication and FDP, and student development workshops. Sir is certified Innovation Ambassador of Institution Innovation Council and part of Christogenty Incubation Center mentoring students on converting ideas into prototype, prepare business plan presentation and reports and connecting with angel investors. It's indeed my privilege to welcome you on the behalf of the Department of Economics, Christogenty College. I would like to hand over the session to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Fakti. Thank you, so Vinodha ma'am, for inviting me for the final discussion. It is a very great initiative. Can you just confirm that it is audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Is it audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You are audible.
yes. So it is a wonderful initiation by the Department of Economics. As we know, the world is growing more challenged. Even there is a lot of opportunities for that. And the post-COVID scenario and moving towards the importance of technology, etc. So before few decades, we started speaking about the Make in India. But now we are speaking about we have to drive every entrepreneurship drives in India itself. So we are welcoming all the people here. And in terms of education, in terms of industry, there is a more inputs on entrepreneurship. So in this perspective, I am very happy to invite the student panelists. It's already introduced Ms. Rebecca Sharon, Ms. Rashi Singh Dio, Ms. Jyoti S, and Mr. Ritam Debnot, and Ms. Zakia Sultana, and Mr. Conductor Abdullah Mahmood. So I thank the principal and the management for encouraging the students to have this type of panel discussion, and very happy to collaborate with the Dhaka School of Economics also. Yes, yes, sir. So we can start the discussion, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, without any further delay, I would like to invite the first panelist, Ms. Rebecca Sharon J.
Thank you, Sakshi. So it's a privilege for me to actually talk on the women entrepreneurship in India. So when we talk about women entrepreneurship, from historicals, we know how women were actually being submerged and they had no opportunities. So nowadays, slowly people have started with a lot of opportunities. Even government have given a lot of initiation. When we talk about entrepreneurship, it's a process of developing, organizing, and running a new business. Starting up a new business is actually a challengeable situation when it comes to India. Financially, you need to be stable and everything. So now women are actually breaking up from the shell. As one of the great women said, you will be defined not just by what you achieve, but how you survive with. So it's not just by skills or everything. You're just breaking out with your shell and you come out and show up all your talents outside. So from the previous histories, when we see women's were like struggling to come out from their shell, as one of the poet in Karnataka, they have actually told about women in a kitchen. So once when she's always submerged in kitchen, she's always like there in the kitchen itself without getting much opportunities. And then once she comes out, she actually sees a new world. And that's like new experience she gets, and then tries to gain more opportunities. From there, she fights all the hurdles and barriers, and then she comes towards a particular situation. But that doesn't end by that. She again showcases her skills and talents, and through that she tries to bloom like a flower once. So when it comes to India, we have a lot of schemes right now. From the previous era, we actually slowly started coming up with schemes. Slowly women started getting into education, and once after education they started getting into job, and then they got a lot of support from their family members. Before, it wasn't possible. When it comes to family members also, we know how the Indian system actually went. And now when it comes to the present era, we have plenty of policies. At the same time, there are a lot of family supports, though there are certain hurdles and barriers that are to be passed. It happens in everything. So there are like a lot of policies and schemes that have been introduced, such as like skill upgrading and like support to training and employment program for women entrepreneurship platforms. So these are certain policies that were actually initiated by our government with this vision to promote a sustainable development for the women entrepreneurs, to have a balanced growth in the country. So startups in India is committed towards strengthening the women's entrepreneurship. Nowadays, women are not just working in the kitchens, they are not just the housewife, they do multitasking works. So they move forward, get more opportunities, they explore themselves, they do all such small startups. Starting it from the kitchen itself, people start baking right now. They do all the other activities starting from the kitchen itself, and then now it is also gone towards a big organizations. So the first women entrepreneurship in India was Kalpana, who actually started up with a very distressed asset, which was a company of company tubes company. She started up, and then she brought it into a huge success and brought the company to a great profit. And then we had such more women who actually participated in politics and social affairs and everything. There are many women who are actually breaking out with their shells and coming forward and creating a big change in the world. Through this initiation, schemes, creation of enabling networks and communities to actively partnerships among these drive, like stakeholders and startups ecosystems were actually created, where women were recognized and they started coming out. So it was not just a policy which just said started supporting, but it also encouraged women to come forward and show their talents, their skills. And most probably there are still women who are backwards, who are lacking support. But we have like comparing from the history right now, when we see there are a lot of support systems and there are a lot of encouragements for women to start up a business, to become an entrepreneur, to run up a huge business organization. And nowadays, women are not just in the political theme or in the economic theme. They start up with their own interests, such as like social outreachment programs and starting with socio-economic programs, which are highly useful for the environment right now. So we had like historians in India who actually did a great change in India, like Indira Gandhi, Kalpana Chawla. We never imagined that a woman can actually go out space. So she also did that. Like it's just breaking out from the shell. It's like there is a comfort zone for a woman where we like break out from the comfort zone with high support. We battle with our discomforts and everything, and then come out with our talents. And now over there also there are like a lot of barriers when we are actually breaking out from certain comfort zones. But even in that barrier, women's breaking out from their comfort zones and coming and showcasing their talents, it's highly appreciable, which even now women's do. So it's not just like hiding a talent or hiding a skill inside. it's just showcasing their talents and encouraging women who are having talents to come out and show their skills in the world, which is actually few women's and many women's in India are actually highly successful in that. And then we have like Indra Nooyi and other women who actually came out. These are the pioneers of India. And when we talk about historians also, we had a lot of historians, women who actually fought up with their challengeable situations and then came out. So in this way, when we say about women entrepreneurship, it's like highly encouraged in India right now. Even even now in the present situation after COVID and everything, like banks and companies are also hiring women employees to come into their jobs. So which is a great change, and they are like encouraging them to come move forward and show up their entire developmental challenges to just overcome the process, which is highly helpful in social welfare programs as well. So by this, I would actually like to end up with my discussion. Thank you.
Very wonderful insights, Rebecca. Very happy that you highlighted the women started coming out of their comfort zone. Okay? So, but actually, I would say that they started coming out of their uncomfort zone. So, women earlier they are in the uncomfort in the kitchen. Okay, so now they are coming to the comfort zone because in the kitchen itself, there's a lot of challenges. Planning is there. So it's not a very easy task. So within the kitchen, they do a lot of micromanagement. So that talent has to be used, and the developing countries like India identify that. So they are giving more opportunity in terms of getting finance. The women are the first priority in terms of banks are getting the subsidies, or even a lot of training programs are organized by the central and state governments. So it is the responsibility of each every girl, child, or the women to take up these opportunities and India to the next level. As you rightly mentioned, yes, even in the corporates also women started performing like Indra Nooyi. And we know very well that the Cafe Day, a very successful food chain restaurant, when it was failed because of the founder. But after that, the wife took up. Now it is again becoming successful. So only the opportunities has to be given to the women and they will be through the work. So thank you very much for your contribution. Please go ahead. And welcome the next person.
Thank you, sir.
I would now like to invite the panelist, Mr. Rhythm Devnath from Dhaka School of Economics.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
you are
please.
audible, yes.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Rhythm Devnath, Dhaka School of Economics. So I'm going to talk about the about the youth population in entrepreneurship of in Bangladesh perspective, and some key points on entrepreneurship in Bangladesh and basically in an emerging economy. First of all, greetings everyone. I hope all of you are doing well, and happy Ramadan Karim as Ramadan is going on, and also happy Ram Navami. It was yesterday, I guess. So let's start. First of all, the growing startup ecosystem of Bangladesh. Bangladesh's startup ecosystem has grown significantly in recent years with the rise of number of new businesses and the government support and the government launching different kinds of startup programs such as IDEA, Innovation Design and Entrepreneurship Academy Project, and which have really helped the youth population for like working and bringing new ideas into the market and like building up new companies. Like we can see the Bangladeshi people can relate, like there is a company named 10 Minute School which provide online education, and it's like similar to the Byju's or Vedantu from India. And for this reason, the access to funding have been like very much easier for Bangladeshi entrepreneurs, especially the youths, those who are interested on that field. And the rising internet users and the technological adoption has made it much easier. As we all know that the youth population of the both of the countries, both Bangladesh and India, is almost about the most of the population. So this is really helpful in terms of entrepreneurial activity because the youth brings new kind of ideas, new kind of challenges, that they have new innovation ideas by which they improve the solution. As we can, as I can give an example of a company. There is a company in India named Oyo. So he really changed the way the the hotel management works and all in that field, and the infrastructure. And recently we have seen like the infrastructure of Bangladesh is changing. The supply chain and logistics is have become easier. The funding has become easier. Government reducing the interest rate to encourage both male and women entrepreneurs, and giving them new opportunities and changing the social norms. Right now, we can see there is a huge surge of the small and medium industries in Bangladesh, especially after the COVID-19. Because in COVID-19, people were sitting in their homes and there was an access to internet. A lot of people who were not used to the internet have to do online classes and all that kind of stuff. So, which made them easier for them to understand the industry and get into the industry as as the last panelists were discussing about how baking and like working that also turned into a job, and we can see that in daily basis. Okay, let's now I want to quote something about from one of my favorite inspiring idols, which is Richard Feynman, uh, physicist. So he said a word: study hard what interests you the most undisciplined, irrelevant and original manner possible. My reason for saying this quote is because like whenever we see someone young coming into the industry and absolutely disrupting the industry, they think about the solution which is like not written in books or not written in a textbook manner. They bring like new ideas into the market which absolutely like disrupt the industry. We have seen that a few times. Like I can give you an example about how Microsoft came into the market when in the 90s in Silicon Valley, when they disrupted the way Apple was selling software. And when even Apple launched their first computer, Microsoft launched the Windows 95, and came up with terms and conditions and the patent of the softwares, and which actually shaped the modern day software industry. So all the interesting thing is done by the youth population. So let me go into the youth population, that sector. Bangladesh is a rapidly growing economy with large population, which represent the huge market and innovation, product and services. Uh, we have a huge middle class population also. So you can take this as a motivation for them to go into the industry and do something new. And all the time we are seeing that kind of innovation and challenges they're facing for solving. For example, we have seen there is a sudden rise in like health robo or health online health services actually, and also online mental health services services startups, and which is really helping for people who are busy all the time to get medical treatments and all that kind of stuff. We have seen like some kind of imitation also in the startup system or entrepreneurship system in Bangladesh. Like for example, there is a company named Pathao, which is the similar as Uber or Ola in India, which provides basically bikes and taxis for through online booking. But that really shaped right now how we are using the traveling system, how we are using from going from one places to another. And there is also a huge level of challenges in Bangladesh, for which whenever the young population, young students or young working professionals come into the industry. So if I talk about challenge, I think the challenges are similar in India also, like the family support. Like from when you come from a middle class background, you don't always get the family support or the amount of money that is needed or the amount of funding that is needed. So basically, at the starting point, you have either to loan the money or to lend money from someone, or you have to sell some valuable asset for that. And after that, you have to start your own business, and not always the ecosystem is supportive. Then another kind of challenges we face in here is like if someone have a very good idea, but he's working in a good position in a job, or suppose like in banking or banking system or in a good non-government or organization, they are they don't have that much amount of time to invest in the business or to make all kinds of like technology or all kinds of or give the time to working for the product. Not all the time we can see that, and so they have to take some amount of risk. So I would like to quote another one from Peter Drucker, Austrian American management consultant. The best way of to predict the future is to create it. So we have to take that kind of risk to create the future, to create more opportunities for the like youth entrepreneurs, take the risk in the market, suppose like leaving job and all that kind of stuff. And a few days ago, I went into other conference. In a personal note, I want to say that Ashnir Grover, which was in the one of the judge from the Shark Tank India, he came into Bangladesh. He said the same thing. Like in there also, we have like the same kind of problem. Though we have very compassionate people all the time. So I'm going to give another overview, like what is the future? What is going to be the future of like startup ecosystem of Bangladesh in terms of youth population? The government of Bangladesh have launched several initiatives to promote entrepreneurship, including Startup Bangladesh program, which provides funding and mentorship in the early stage, like seed funding. Additionally, the government have made it easier to register a business and reduce the line of time and cost associated with the business by providing mentorship programs, by providing access to the funding, by providing training programs if they came from like non-educational background or they came from a poverty related area. So government is doing everything to increase the increase the increase the entrepreneurial activity. So I would like to finish with a quote of another of my favorite writer, or you can say philosopher. Don't bend down, don't want to water it down, don't try to make it logical, don't edit your own soul according to the fashion. Rather, follow your most intense obsession mercilessly, which the entrepreneur does all the time, taking all the risk and everything. So thanks for letting me speak. And I would like to conclude my speech here. And thanks, ma'am and teachers and both of the institute. And take care, everyone. So I would like to conclude my speech here.
Great, Rizam Devnath. Welcome you from Dhaka, Bangladesh. And as Rizam said, the Bangladesh is a place that is known as a state of women entrepreneurship. So, which are told that the importance of women entrepreneurship. Bangladesh is a state of women entrepreneurship. And the last 10 years, there's a lot of improvement in the country towards the entrepreneurship, like in terms of the seed funding and creating an ecosystem, startup ecosystem, and networking the entrepreneurs, and investment-friendly investments are encouraged. Post-COVID, as Rhythm said, we learned how to use internet and Zoom platform, digital marketing. So earlier it was thought that these things are known for the corporates. So post-COVID, only we learn these are the cheaper way of doing our business. And especially for the startup, it's very, very, very impactful. So unlike this, there are a lot of startups, the successful startups from the 2022, there is a Chandal, Prava Health, Shop of Maya, Shuttle. They are performing national level. It's having the origin from Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is having a major focusing on the 4 pillars. Okay, so it mainly putting on the developing the connectivity and infrastructure, which is important for the startup ecosystem, and development of the human capital, e-governance, and investment in ICT. These are the major areas it is focusing, the Bangladesh is focusing. And as we all know that Bangladesh is a topper in jute exports and government exports, regional exports, rice exports. So if it is properly utilized by the entrepreneurship, especially the women entrepreneurship in Bangladesh, and truly the Bangladesh entrepreneurs will contribute more to the GDP of the country. It's all the best, Rita. So please continue discussing like this.
Thank you, sir.
So I will welcome the next panel member.
I would like to invite Ms. Rashi Singh Dio from Christy Jainty College.
A very good morning to everyone. So I'm going to talk about the situation of entrepreneurship and innovation in India. So when we talk about economic projections, they are based on objective analysis. But in order for the economic environment to take these predictions into account, they must be grounded in an understanding of the mechanisms behind reasonable expectations and opportunity decision making. So owing to these reasons, we try to look at how these opportunities came to be like as a result of economic development taking place predominantly in innovation-based economies. So I would like to go back a little bit into the history. So then we will be able to look ahead, like the situation, the present situation as well. So, like following independence, like since the barter system was a very popular method of transaction in the early days, so entrepreneurship in India started to develop and change, and we have seen the change rapidly and continuously. So the Indian economy at the time during the independence had like very little left. So to help India's development, the government did, however, take steps to promote entrepreneurship and innovation. So like initiatives like
Rashi, there is a pause from your end. Please check your network connection.
Just 30 seconds. No issues.
Okay.
am I audible now?
Yes, please.
So,
Yeah, I'm so sorry because of the internet connection. So I would like to continue with my discussion. So I was talking about how Prime Minister Nehru, he accepted the Soviet Union's economic structure for our country, and that was the major transformation of entrepreneurship in India began with the economic policy reform in 1991. So we have seen that how it was like a big change, how it brought a big change in the Indian economic structure, and which included like globalization, privatization, and liberalization. So this policy is to be seen further expanded in the recent year, that is in the year 2022. And these were the most important of all. However, all of them played an important role in developing entrepreneurship in India. Like the major objective was economic reform, which has also served in the transformation of entrepreneurship in India. So before the policy, India's entrepreneurship was based on the model of traditional industries and agro-based industries mainly. So, however, after the implementation of the policy, major changes were seen in the field of technology and in the rise of the companies like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, and Bajaj, and more emerging companies like this. But there is a limitation to this policy as it favors a lot of big companies and does not give like a chance to what we were just discussing about the small and MSMEs, small innovative industries, and a new startup to take off. So, but when we talk about the growth of startups, so in India in recent years, like it began in the year 2016, and this startup initiative's main goal is to provide like assistance for the growth of entrepreneurship in India. However, there are other important components to it. Like in India, startups became commonplace by the year 2015, and it's sometimes India is sometimes referred to as the poster child of developing market. And the following are some like I would like to state now some of the startup initiatives and like some of the features like the MSME ministry like that jumped into action by assisting startups and small business, and the Made in India program. It enables entrepreneurship to exist and thrive in India. And the Niti Aayog program was also made like public, and its goal is to train people and help them to build their talents so they may become skilled resources. And we have seen that every day, new entrepreneurs and inventors, like they support their enterprises in the Indian market. And since 1990, entrepreneurship has grown rapidly each year. Like if you take that into account, for any company looking to invest, the contemporary Indian entrepreneurial like scene is quickly developing into a highly advantageous market. Like the majority of Indian business have also demonstrated their potential in global trade and the expansion in India. And nonetheless, India's IT business, like when we talk about it, so it takes care of sizable portion of the entrepreneur representing India's development in its own. Then, in order to control and strengthen and to promote the interconnections between various systems, components, as well as social entrepreneurial activities, like it inside the ecosystem, the policies like which all of us, I think, we feel that it should be created in the manner like which attracts a fresh pool of potential business owners, a fresh pool, and while also guaranteeing their success in starting, running and expanding the operations. And first off, innovation has a significant impact on entrepreneurial opportunities due to large number of inventions made by local businessmen in every developing economies, and where new ideas are developed and then exported to developing economies, like to the local environments. And then strong institutional environments and effective innovation systems are required to create opportunities, because they have they have significant impact on an entrepreneur's innovative behavior and characteristics that which exhibit different levels of innovation. So when we talk about the SME sector, which has received significant attention over the last decade because it dominates emerging economies and contributes to development, but not to the full extent that it could cope up with the few challenges. And India has a variety of entrepreneurship, like we spoke about the big companies. So like the hybrid organizations which combine for profit and non-profit cooperatives and like entities, and business that are for profit include partnerships and sole proprietaries like private firms and cooperatives, and non-profit organizations like, such as charitable foundations, anything. So I guess the administration of micro, small, and medium business in India is subject to policy development by the Indian government. So as far as entrepreneurship policy framework is concerned, legal recognition of business must be promoted, and internet and social media access might be prioritized by policy, because it is now thought to be crucial component of the infrastructure for modern entrepreneurs, and the government offers all of these at reasonable cost nowadays. So to conclude with, I would like to talk about a few things. Like in India, entrepreneurship, it had a rocky history because of like the emerging and economy, which included the help of everyone. And furthermore, it had a terrible effect like after independence. But our nation was able to overcome it at one point in time, and which is like for which we have to thank the legislation and the diligent labor. But in India is now taking market share because because of its creative thinking. And there would be more chances for entrepreneurs, like for booming entrepreneurs in India. And it is crucial for decision makers and business owners to take into account how entrepreneurship and economic development are related. Like being aware of the benefits and drawbacks of entrepreneurship enables like one to take a balanced stance and a strategy for emphasizing the value of entrepreneurship, and which can have favorable economic and societal effects. And there is still more work to be done in the area of policy development for entrepreneurship. Like until recently, neither in India and also the emerging economies along with it, like we have seen the framework is anticipated to spark like conversations and about the necessity and ramifications for revisiting current or upcoming plans for national policies on entrepreneurship development and regulation. So like researchers, I think they can according to the few theories, the researchers can improve the current model by finding and incorporating various levels of analysis between the operating system and its components in order to create more beneficial and conducive policy framework. So finally, we can consider a variety of pragmatic, direct, and indirect variables like that are brought up about entrepreneurship. So we shouldn't undervalue how entrepreneurship affects the economy in India. It has a good effect on the economy. Thank you. I would like to conclude with this.
Yes, very nice, Rajshri. I'm very happy to hear all the highlights of our country towards the establishment of startup and development. The celebration of 70th year of celebration. So we are at the stage, we are the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. And we have around 100 plus unicorn. Unicorn means the startup which costs around $1 billion business value. We have around 100 plus, and we are aiming for more. And among this 142 are technology-led startups. So the entire world is speaking about machine learning, AI, etc. So we already started, and most of the startups are working towards it. That's why most of the countries are depend on our IT, our financial solution. And our startups in India are able to integrate technology like a fintech, if they are agri-tech, edutech, logitech, supply chain and technology. So we are able to integrate the various things into our entrepreneurship. So our India the major entrepreneurship focuses on the three things. One is IT, consumerism, and innovation. Entrepreneurship is not a new word to India. So 2000 BC itself we started trade with Harappa and Mohenjo-daro civilization itself we started seeing the trading. Now we are just updating with the technology. And the new economic policy after 1991 and after that East India Company penetration, and we learned a lot of things in terms of entrepreneurship. So now it is very structured. Our IPR process is very structured, and Indian government is giving a lot of opportunities for the business, like the Mudra Yojana scheme, like the PMY. So we are able to get a 10 lakh loan even for the small business people. And under the Mudra, we have a 3 different schemes, and the more entrepreneurship scheme for the SC and ST and women entrepreneurship. These are all the very good opportunity areas in India to perform. And even in the national education policy, so all the curriculum should be included with the entrepreneurship. Even at the school level, they started giving input for the entrepreneurship. So very happy to hear from Rashi about the inputs. Very good. Welcome to the next panel member.
Now I invite Ms. Zakia Sultana from the School of Economics.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, Sakia, you can start your audio.
Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to all. First of all, I would like to thank to the organizer who organizing such a nice program and for giving me an opportunity to express my view on a hot topic of recent time. If we dissect our today's topic, then we will find two terms. The one is entrepreneurship and another is emerging economies. What is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is the process of developing, organizing, and running a new business to generate profit while taking on financial risk. On the other hand, emerging economies refers to a country that is in the process of developing the economy, generates low to middle per capita income, that is, transitioning from pre-industrial economy towards a modern industrial economy with higher standard of living and is rapidly expanding due to high production levels and significant industrialization in their transition to become more advanced. It reflects the characteristics of a developed market but does not satisfy the standards to be termed as a developed market. What is the connection in between entrepreneurship and economic growth, which is most important for us to know? The relationship between entrepreneurship and economic growth is complicated and can vary from one country to another based on their level of economic development. In highly developed economies, entrepreneurs can accelerate growth, while in less developed that may have such opportunities in economic growth. In countries where entrepreneurial activity is largely in the form of necessity entrepreneurship, it can be a signal that the economy is not creating enough jobs or wages for the nation. It may be connected to slow economic growth or lagging economic development overall. As a least developed country, opportunity entrepreneurship is practiced in Bangladesh. Bangladesh has an inspiring story of growth and development. Aspiring to be an upper middle income country by 2031, Bangladesh has a strong track record of growth and development, even in times of elevated global uncertainty. A robust demographic dividend, strong ready-made garments exports, resilient remittance inflows, and stable macroeconomic conditions have supported rapid economic growth over the past 2 decades. A strong recovery from COVID-19 pandemic continued in fiscal year 2022, although a recent surge in commodity prices has presented new headwinds like the other countries of the world. Bangladesh has also a remarkable story of poverty reduction and development. From being one of the poorest nations at birth in 1971, Bangladesh reached lower middle income status in 2015. It is on track to graduate from the UN's least developed countries by 2026. Poverty declined from 43.5% in 1991 to 14.3% in 2016. This dramatic change is possible due to development in entrepreneurship. Now, I'm trying to explain some salient features of the role of entrepreneurship in emerging economies. First of all, I must say, entrepreneurship can be a path to economic independence, both for the country and the entrepreneur. It reduces nations' dependency on imported goods and services and promotes self-reliance. The manufactured goods and services can also be exported to foreign markets, leading to expansion, currency inflow, and economic independence. Second one, a significant role of entrepreneurship in economic development is that it can greatly enhance the standard of living for individuals and communities by setting up industries and creating wealth and new positions. Third one, by starting new firms and businesses, entrepreneurs play a key role in shaping the economy and creating a more dynamic and diverse business landscape. Fourth one, entrepreneurship is a pivotal driver of job creation. Running the operations of new businesses and meeting the requirements of customers results in creating new work opportunities. Fifth one, entrepreneurship can encourage capital formation by attracting investment. Sixth one, entrepreneurship has the potential to lift people out of poverty by generating employment and stimulating economic activity. Seventh one, entrepreneurship promotes economic growth. How? Many entrepreneurs also make a positive impact on their communities and improve their well-being by catering to underserved areas and developing environment-friendly products. Number 8, entrepreneurship can help to identify market opportunities and allocate resources in the most effective way possible. It means entrepreneurs know the optimal use of resources. Last but not the least is that entrepreneurship can play a significant role in increasing economic growth and prosperity by enhancing gross national product and per capita income. Entrepreneurship can contribute to GNP by creating new businesses and industries, which can lead to job creation, increased consumer spending, and higher tax revenue. According to Bangladesh aspect, the majority population consists of female. As per 2022 census, total population of Bangladesh stands for 16.52 crore, out of which 8.33 crore are female. It means more than 50% of the manpower is women. We know manpower is one of the main resources to drive economic development, and development of the female society is mostly connected to economic empowerment of women. So, inclusion of women in economic activity is very important for economical development. In developing country like Bangladesh, generating a large scale employment is too difficult. So, women entrepreneurship can be the realistic solution. Being an entrepreneur, they become empowered and they can also speed up development, help to overcome poverty, generate employment, reduce inequalities, improve children's nutrition, health, and school attendance. All these activities boost up the economy directly. In Bangladesh, SME provides over 87% of the total industrial employment and is responsible for the creation of over 33% of industrial value-added goals. At present, women entrepreneurs constitute less than 10% of the total business entrepreneur in our country. But from a recent survey, it is observed that in 2021, women startups 39.9% of businesses, enhanced up to 41.5% by September 2022. Survey result transpires that in the last decade, women have made tremendous strides in Bangladesh, stepping out of the home to participate in the economy. In SME sector, which accounts for an estimated 25% of GDP, women have substantial considerations. Besides, a vast number of women are working in our RMG sector. We change our economic condition tremendously. There are a number of entrepreneurs generated, and to their businesses meet up the demand of working women. So women employment also inspires to create new entrepreneurs. There are lots of challenges entrepreneur has to face in their startups, but this is not our discussed topic. But I want to point out the main challenge of entrepreneurship, and that is known as capital inadequacy. To address this challenge, our government is declaring various stimulus packages to finance entrepreneurs in SME sectors and women entrepreneurs, especially through banks and NBFIs. Besides, our microfinance institutions also play a vital role in our economy. And that's all about my discussion today. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, Alaikum Salam, Javier Sultana. Welcome to Christianity College for a panel discussion. We highlighted with the detail of information. And as we know that our entrepreneurship and startup ecosystem is very important for the economic growth. So we have three different types of economy: capitalist economy, secular economy, and India is a mixed economy. And as you mentioned, Bangladesh, the Bangladesh government is taking more effort in encouraging youth and women towards the economic development of the country. So if you want to improve the economy, the employment, the standard of living of the people, better utilization of the resources, and mainly empowering the youth and women are so important. So for that, employment through entrepreneurship is the only way to do that. And with respect to the Bangladesh, the Ministry of Youth Development, so having conducting a lot of training programs, especially for the youth and women for the entrepreneurship. And one of the famous projects is initiated by BCCI, which aimed at 2,000 innovative entrepreneurs successfully created with the support of Bangladesh Bank. And it is also encouraging the freelancer programs for conducting leading trainings. So it is well explained by Zakia Sultana about the contribution of Bangladesh towards entrepreneurship and also the importance of entrepreneurship towards the economy of the country. Very nice. Thank you. So I go to the next slide.
Now I would like to invite Ms. Jyoti S. from Christo Jayanti College.
Good morning. As we discussed about we gave an introduction about the entrepreneurship in India and the policies. So now I'd like to talk about what are the major challenges faced by women entrepreneurs in India. Entrepreneurship is a challenge, and even more so if you are a woman. Despite their efforts and expertise, female entrepreneurs often struggle a lot more than their male counterparts to make it big and get recognized within the business community. So we are going to focus what are the major challenges faced by women entrepreneurs. So we are giving a special reference to India. So the first major problem faced by women entrepreneurs in India are fewer sectors are women friendly. Despite the policies and measures to promote gender equality, men still dominate India's entrepreneurial ecosystem. According to the recent report, most women-owned businesses in the country operate in low revenue sectors, while men control the more profitable sectors like manufacturing, construction, and so on. So we can see that women mainly play their major role in sectors like beauty, cosmetics, and male-centric natures of many industries also forces women entrepreneurs to compete in not mostly dominated sectors. And the second point we are going to discuss is lack of social and institutional support. Most women business owners do not get the social support they require to kickstart their business from families, peers, and immediate ecosystems. Lack of mentorship from business communities is also one of the main challenges faced by women entrepreneurs in India. And the third problem we are going to discuss is that lack of access to professional networks. Limited access to professional networks is one of the another major problem faced by women entrepreneurs.
Few seconds, please wait.
Sorry for the network issue. The third problem is that lack of access to professional networks. Limited access to professional network is another one of the basic problems of women entrepreneurs in India. According to the Google Brain survey, female business owners are less integrated with formal and informal networks. Pressure to stick to traditional gender roles. As we know that in a patriarchal condition, both women and men to play a certain defined gender roles. Women are expected to cook, do domestic chores, raise kids, and care for elderly and the like. Judging familial and professional responsibility is to challenge in itself, and even more so when you set out to build a brand. So we know that women are being given certain roles and responsibilities to play in society, and men always given the role to lead and to business. So it's hard to get out of from such norms which is in the society. The other point is that lack of entrepreneurial environment. Entrepreneurship is a long journey that involves a lot of learning, unlearning, and upskilling. An environment that exudes a strong entrepreneurial spirit is crucial for a person to become successful business owner. However, any women often suffer from lack of such productive environment. To begin with, any women are forced to manage their business from home due to family responsibilities. Consequently, they lose out of opportunities to go out and interact with business community and build their market access. Other point is limited mobility. Limited mobility is one of the basic problems of women entrepreneurs in India. They cannot travel alone or stay at hotels for business purposes without worrying about safety. That's more, many hotels in India still do not allow women to check in unless accompanied by a man. Lack of education. I think one of the major problem is that lack of education. One of the credential for a modern entrepreneur in having prior experience in running a successful business. To supplement the lack of experience in running a business, the entrepreneur have professional experience of working in a relevant industry or a business management degree. Unfortunately, in India, the education of a woman does not get into its due importance. This results in many budding female entrepreneurship lacking the education required for running a successful business. Then the other major point is like low risk bearing ability. In order to invest in and run a successful business, the entrepreneur needs to able to bear or some inherent risk. Women often do not have financial freedom, do not have practice in making independent decisions. They lack confidence in their own decisions, which make them risk averse. Balancing responsibility between family and business. Family is often seen as an extension of women. It is expected from married women to enter motherhood with a certain age and also play a major role in rearing their children. This also leads to the young mothers having to take a break from their careers and prioritize their families. Stiff competition. The major economic environment and market conditions have made the competition between business fierce. They face challenges from their competitors as well as competition with their business for leadership. They also need to prove their worthiness every step of the way to their colleagues, investors to gain their confidence. They also need to manage a lot of output while using limited resources for the survival of their business. Limited industry knowledge is another problem faced by women entrepreneurs in India. Women do not have access to industry contacts mechanism and know how to do that necessarily for running the business successfully. Despite the gradual breaking of the stereotypes, there is still lack of exposure in areas. So if we are doing a certain business or starting up a new business, you need to know well about that sector and how it works, and also need to create much contacts possible. So they are facing a problem of lacking of the knowledge and the contacts available. So in certain areas, they won't be able to work properly or in an organized way like the others. Missing role models. One of the biggest challenges that budding women entrepreneurs face is that they do not have enough positive role models. Because of the lack of role models, it is difficult for them to visualize how success looks like. So when we start a business or a startup, there are a lot of problems faced. So if we have a role model or an example, we can know that what are the problems faced, how to handle that problems. Social contrast. To the long-standing patriarchal tradition in the country, gender roles has been strategically designed. The women have been confined to a supportive role, and it is not expected from them to take a lead in the business and professional world. Even though the women have knowledge and they are having a courage to come forward, but certain stereotypes and norms are pulling them backwards. And the other major drawback I'm seeing that it's safety concerns. The poor state of law and order has given rise to crime against women. The hostile and risky environment poses serious challenges for women entrepreneurship who need mobility to manage their business ventures. This limits the women from reaching many locations on their own and sometimes necessitates the companies of a men for simply their safety. And also the last problem, which I feel like that even though there are a lot of policies provided by the government of India, most of the policies, like women entrepreneurs, are not aware about the policies and how to use these policies in a proper way. Because of that, they are not able to utilize these many policies and come forward. By this, I conclude by saying that these are the major challenges faced by women entrepreneurs in India. And if we try to solve these problems by making them aware about the policies, giving much safety to them, and like trying to help them to come forward, so we can create more entrepreneurs, women in India. Thank you.
Happy to hear from Jyoti from Department of Economics, Christianity College. Jyoti emphasized on even we are speaking about a lot of opportunities in entrepreneurship for women, but still there are a lot of challenges for the women in India to grow in the entrepreneurship. Not only in India, in most of the developed countries, women is mostly considered as a consumer. So whatever we can produce, whatever we can market, she will consume. Or otherwise, women mostly considered as a cheap labor. So it is slowly changing in India. So we are also started empowering women towards an entrepreneurship. And as Jyoti said, the women is facing a lot of pressure, social pressure, family pressure, towards family responsibilities. And in terms of education, even we are speaking more about gender equality in education. With respect to the school or UG level, the education percentage of women or girl child is more. But we speak about the higher education and education of women in terms of technical, it is still in the growing stage only. And with respect to the women, even we are empowering women, but still we are not ready to give up her other responsibilities. Okay, so like the work-life balance is quite a challenge for the women. She has to play a multiple role as a good daughter, good mother, good wife, good citizen. At the same time, she also has to perform as a good entrepreneur. So still a lot of challenges existing, as rightly said by Jyoti. Yes, so our India will be addressing these things and we will not. Thank you. I welcome the last panel, the next for contributing response.
Mr. Konkar Abdullah Muhammad from the Dhaka School of Economics.
Thank you. Good morning, distinguished guests, respected teachers, and my fellow friends. This is Kandakar Abdullah Mahmoud from Dhaka School of Economics. It is an honor to speak to you about the entrepreneurship in emerging economy of Bangladesh. I will not discuss the challenges that as many of the previous presenter already discussed about it. I will focus the opportunity for students to start their entrepreneurship journey in Bangladesh. Bangladesh has been experiencing a period of rapid economic growth, which has been driven in large part by entrepreneurship. The country's entrepreneurs have created new businesses, generated employment, and contributed to the country's economic development. Entrepreneurship is a critical driver of the economic growth and development, especially in emerging economies such as Bangladesh. It can create jobs, spur innovation, and increase productivity. It can also help to reduce poverty by providing opportunities for people to improve their livelihoods. In Bangladesh, entrepreneurship has been thriving in a number of sectors, including agriculture, manufacturing, and services. One of the most significant examples of entrepreneurship in Bangladesh is the garments industry. The garment industry has created millions of jobs, especially for women, and has helped transform the country's economy. In addition, the country has growing technology sector with many startups developing innovative solutions to address social and economic challenges. The government of Bangladesh has taken several initiatives to create and boost the growing ecosystem for entrepreneurship in Bangladesh. Some initiatives are vocational training programs are an essential part of the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Bangladesh. This program provides training and support to entrepreneurs, helping them to develop the skills and knowledge necessary to start and run their business. Government started the vocational education from 6th grade and set target to enroll 30% of total students in the vocational schools by 2030 and 50% by 2041. Recognition of prior learning is another great initiative of the government to recognize the skills of informal sector workers and giving them access to formal vocational education and training. Currently, government is running some mega projects to promote vocational and entrepreneurship skills, such as skills for employment investment program, accelerating and strengthening skills for economic transformation, Skills 21 project, empowering citizens for inclusive and sustainable growth. Entrepreneurship training is essential for entrepreneurs to develop skills and knowledge necessary to start and run successful businesses. Government, private sector, and NGOs are offering entrepreneurship training to young people, equipping them with the tools they need to become successful entrepreneurs. Women entrepreneurship is a growing focus in Bangladesh. Women-owned businesses have the potential to create jobs, drive economic growth, and reduce poverty. Government is promoting and providing training, mentorship, and funding to women entrepreneurs, helping them to succeed in the business world. Government also introduced compulsory entrepreneurship education in schools and universities. Students can learn about entrepreneurship and develop their business ideas and start their own business while studying at schools and universities. The Student Startup Challenges is a popular program supported by the government. This program encourages young students to explore entrepreneurship and develop their business ideas. This program provides mentorship, networking opportunities, and funding for students to start their own businesses. Government and also the private sector build many business incubation centers all around the country, mostly at the university campus and in a specialized economic zone. The business incubation centers are designed to support early stage startups by providing them with office space, mentorship, and access to resources such as funding, legal advice, and market research. These centers help entrepreneurs to develop their ideas and bring them to the market. There are some government organizations are working for developing the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Bangladesh, such as Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, Bangladesh High-Tech Park Authority, Bangladesh Economic Zone Authority, Bangladesh Small and Medium Enterprise Foundation, and Bangladesh Small and Cottage Industries Corporation. They are working to support the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Bangladesh. This organization provides funding, training, mentorship, and other resources to entrepreneurs, helping them to succeed in their business work. The growing ecosystem for entrepreneurship in Bangladesh offering promising opportunities for young entrepreneurs to start and grow their successful businesses by providing support, training, funding, and other resources. Government and various organizations such as private sector and NGOs are working to create environment to foster entrepreneurship and support the economic growth. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss about the opportunities for young entrepreneurs and students in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Kundakar from Dhaka University. So thank you for your inputs regarding the Bangladesh initiative, especially for the students who are moving towards the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Bangladesh is one of the states in India who is having a clear policy for entrepreneurship. They create a model called EEM, called as the input-based entrepreneurship model. It was initiated by the Bangladesh government. And even as Dodaga said, even from the education itself, they integrated entrepreneurship. That's a very clear model. In terms of a teaching curriculum, they have three different inputs. One is related to trait-focused content. So it's based on the personality of the student. So what type of entrepreneurship can be encouraged and what type of skills can be given. That is one thing. And another thing is skill-based content. So they will apprise the student based on the student skills level. They will give the training regarding the time management, leadership management, technological skills, etc. So another one is about the knowledge-focused content. It's focused on the giving the input regarding the entrepreneurship, starting from what are the government schemes available, market, how to do the market research, how to present the business plan, what are the funding options available for the young entrepreneurs, and how to start up doing the startup business, and how can get the incubated support from the government. So all these things are given at even at the school level and mainly in the college level. And there are a lot of courses, especially in the economics and the MBA, a lot of courses integrated with related to the entrepreneurship. Yes, as Dodaga said, the Bangladesh is putting a lot of effort. So we can see within maximum of 10 years, we can see a lot of startup entrepreneurs are emerging from Bangladesh and will be contributing towards the economic development of the country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gratitude is a powerful catalyst for happiness. It's the spark that lights a fire of joy in our souls. I would like to thank Dr. D. Ravindran for taking out his time from his busy schedule. I would like to thank Dr. Muhammad Mahbub Ali, Dhaka School of Economics. I would also like to thank Dr. Giv Vinoda Devi, coordinator, for a round-the-clock support in the success of this event. I'd like to thank all the faculty members, panelists, and my JNTians. I thank you all once again.
So thank you, MC Sakshi Devan, for wonderfully with the master ceremony for the panel discussion. So heartfelt thanks to Dr. Vinoda Devi ma'am for initiating this panel discussion on the economy. And I want to appreciate the 6 panelists. It started with Ms. Rebecca from the Queen's College. She spoke well about Indian system for women entrepreneurship, and followed by Mr. Ritham from Dhaka. He emphasized on Bangladesh efforts towards the entrepreneurship, and Ms. Rashi from Queen's College towards the startup initiatives in India, and Ms. Zakia from Dhaka who explained about entrepreneurship towards the economic development of the country, and Ms. Jyoti from Queen's College emphasized on the challenges of women in entrepreneurship development. What are the areas you have to focus? And finally, from Dhaka, Ms. Gondagar, we explained about the opportunities and the efforts by the Bangladesh education system for the student development and entrepreneurship. So I'm very happy and thankful being a part of the team in the panel discussion. Once again, I thank Professor Vinodina ma'am for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. With that, the panel discussion came to end. I just want to thank the students from Dhaka School of Economics, Ravindra, sir, of course, and our panelists for making this session successful. The presentations were awesome. So thank you so much, sir. Shakshi, you can end the session. Thank you, Sri.